Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike, and happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well going into this weekend. Some of y'all are probably going to DFW and all that fun stuff. There's a Joe going on this weekend. But today, I want to talk to you about Transformers, Masterpiece Transformers, that were reissued, now are sold out, and the price is up. And oddly enough, not up a whole lot on some, up quite a bit on some other ones. But the reason I'm making this video right now, because right now, if you're looking to pick up stuff you've missed out on, is the best time. Because at the beginning of summer, we see people that are more worried about vacations or going to Joe Fest or something like that, and not so worried about buying Masterpiece Transformers online. And so with that, this is the time of year to get some steals and deals. And, you know, pretty much through June and part of July, it's very soft. So if you're looking at backtracking and picking stuff up, then there it is. Anyway, we'll get into this, and this is not going to be in any order. And the last ones, well, that's not really that controversial. So we'll get into this and more coming up. I'm starting out with Takara. I had to do a little bit of stretches here, some stretching, some bending over backwards. But technically, the Plus Megatron's a reissue. Technically, it's the same mold, just painted different and reissued. Prices up. Very expensive because people that already had the first one and spent the money on the first one, they won't spend the money on the second one. And because it wasn't fully vac metallized, so there was a lot to it. Some people loved the heck out of it and spent the money, but now getting it is really expensive. Now, I don't want to be a broken record, but talked about it before, talked about it again. Also, the Megatron for the Beast Wars one, that one's pretty pricey to get an official. You know, that Toys Mage KO is very nice, but an official one with an unbroken crotch, I don't know, there's at least half of them got a broken crotch. That's got to be worth some money right there. But Shockwave, of course, the one that's the Plus one, is a challenge. Now they did, yeah, it's got the plus on it right there. They did change the orientation on the box to sideways instead of up and down. So that's $675. See, and another thing is, like, these are reissues that are expensive reissues. Maybe someone can help me think of a better clickbait title, because I was racking my mind, you know, trying to figure out something better than just expensive reissues, but it's kind of what's going on. Reissue stuff is expensive. So let's get into something. Now this is, now I'm going to show you kind of the Bumblebee here. I really feel like the authentic ones, the true real deal ones, are off the market, and all that's out there are the KOs. And you look what the KOs sold for, 53, and then official 110. People thought 110 was crazy. I think the US retailers were 120. So let's see what we got. It's in the box. And they're all selling about like the reissue price, well, the KO price. So the reissue is the KO, I guess. I do think this came back in stock for a short period of time at some retailers. Like, so it went out of stock, then came back in stock. But they reissued, like did the KO, and then they reissued the KO, and then they did the reissue. So, but they're all sold out on Shozy Store. And with that, I do believe that there's a big jump from when you get to through the KOs into the official. But then some people say they have an official one like in Malaysia or in China. So I try to filter out as many of the China sellers, because a lot of those are rogue sellers. They're not like Shozy and other trusted actual establishments that sell. And so you might just not get it. It might not show up. But $229 to get one in the United States that's allegedly official. But then again, I don't even trust that. What I am saying, though, is I have the KO and the official, and get yourself a KO if you like this mold. A lot of people complained about how, you know, 120 is way too much, and complained about how bad this looks, but yet it's still pretty sought after. Now, of course, I don't want to make this fan toys show, so I got to look around and try to come up with some stuff from every company that is sold out, but was reissued, sold out, and is sort of expensive on the secondary market. So we'll get into Skylinks from MC. Now, this was reissued, and it's in different colors. And so there's a lot to look at, right? No, this is all that I could find. on eBay right now for sale. So none of them in the US, 4 of them in China, 1 of them in Germany. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be import fees along with that. And I don't even know 100% if you order any of these if they'll show up. So that is a challenge. Now, none of these are the first run either. So these are all the 2-tune to a detriment, which is what I like to call it. I believe these are the 2-tune, C for cartoon. And with that, so the very first run doesn't even exist for sale anywhere that I could find. And I would think if MMC comes out with another reissue in the future, it would be the toy one. And I passed on this. I'm the tune guy, right? But I like the first run better. I do like the first run better. And it's just, let's go back to this picture for a little bit. As you can see, there's just the colors, the darker blues, I like them better. I just think it looks better. But, you know, a good reason, like if you're thinking about business-wise, why put the exact same thing out, make it a little bit different? And yeah, so the first one is the one that is probably the hardest to get, but the reissued one still is a challenge. That's Skylinks, Inventa, and Magna. All right, so this was probably not the best screenshot in the world. Oh well, I'll just run with it. Just get the point. Terminus Giganticus from Fans Toys. Not cheap. So the whole thing was, it was originally put out at like $450. It would have been $450 if you had the two A and Bs together, right? And then they sold out. Well, they went down on their price to like $350 because of DX9, but then when they sold out, they started creeping up in price. They actually were more pricey than this for a while, but then they reissued them down the road, and you got both A and B at the same time. So initially you had to buy A and then get B, which I was very nervous about doing that. I was much happier to get DX9. I paid like $235 for my DX9, and I got it all in one box. Didn't have to have the A and B. I think even the reissue was A and B just sold at the same time. That's what I think it was. But anyhow, there's not very many of them out there for sale, and they ain't cheap. Omega Supreme. I really think the DX9 is every bit as good as the Fans Toys. But, I mean, it's one of those things. If you are a Fans Toys fanboy, you'll want to own the Fans Toys one. Side by side, the Fans Toys might have a more premium gleam to it. The plastic might look a little bit better. It's not painted head to toe, but still, at the end of the day, I heard it had hip problems and other things. But I don't think there's anything bad about this release. I just think it's getting kind of expensive. Next up, we got Lupus, which I don't know what I'm doing wrong on my screenshots here, but I don't care. I'm gonna run with them. Fans Toys Lupus came out originally for like $100. Then the reissue was $200 or $189 or something like that, that is gouging. It is gouging, and I'm gonna blame Fans Toys and not the retailers on it, but I might be wrong. But the pricing, usually they just charge a certain percentage above what they pay. And here it is, $249. You can get one in the US, so it's not bad. It's not new in the box. And then you don't see another one at all in the US that I've seen. Maybe there'll be one for like a crazy price. The problem with this release was the fact that there was supposed to be a KO, but not really a KO. It was the designers that split off were going to make this themselves, and they made 3 or 4 releases, and I heard it was actually 2 different groups of people. Somehow this one never got made, and the pre-orders never got filled for it. I did get an official, and I was going to do a comparison official and KO and see what the difference were, but the KO never came out. So now with that, it's still a pretty pricey figure. I mean, it's not, I think the height of it back before it was even reissued was, you can still get one for $300. So $250 is not too far off of the mass hysteria in 2020. So with that, it's still commanding a much higher price than I think it should. Now, with all my jibber jabber, we're going to talk about Jabber here. Now, Jabber was another figure that came out, was about $100 price point, $115 maybe, maybe $130 at places, depending on where you got it. And I got mine, I believe I paid $115 for mine, I believe, my first one. The second one came out, and I paid nearly $200 for it. Nearly $200. But then I think did I get a screenshot of it? I got a screenshot of it. Shozy store marked them down to 140, which I will admit, in my personal opinion, I think it should have been 140 because I had to pay the full 189 to get a reissue. But I'm still very happy about mine because of the fact that I got one in bot mode and one in alt mode. I mean, it dominates. I don't see another company making a better alt mode for this, and the bot mode's great. Someone might improve the alt mode, the bot mode, but the alt mode it's spot on, and the bot mode's good. It's not perfect, but it's better than anything else that's out there. But so getting into this, so 140 is kind of what it went down to. I don't know if other places discounted it or not, but now there's one in the US for 300. The rest are all in China. So there's very limited stock on the market during kind of a depressed selling time frame. All right, so I guess we're going to talk about Fans Toys Hunk. Oh man, I did not. My pictures don't match my list, so editing's gonna be fun. All right, so Hunk came out as a $100 figure, and pretty much every place had them between 100 and 110. I don't think anyone charged more than that. Then he was reissued. When he was reissued, he was reissued for not much more, maybe 110. I think the original was 100 and the reissue was 110. And there was a lot of demand for this guy. And now that he's sold out, like people are getting 200 to 300 for him, depending on where you're buying it and all that good stuff and time of the year. But this is again the depressed market, and he's commanding around $200, so double the price. And here's the thing, I got a little confused when making this, and I started looking up some of the other ones. You start looking up some of the other mini bots from Fans Toys that are sold out, they weren't reissued. You know, the Dune Rider was never reissued that I know of. It's still commanding higher prices. And then the Huffer and then what's commanding more is their gears. But this is the only one that was reissued, so it's the only one that I can really look at on my list. Now we're getting into X Transbots Class 2. So there's a couple of things about this. First off, this is all that's on eBay. If you change it and search for Cosmos, there's another one in China for like $200. So there's one in Malaysia that's loose for 174. In China, it's like 200 and something, 246 I think, from China. So this is pretty much all you got, all the options you got out there for this guy. He was reissued, which was really kind of strange because he came out with a standard figure, then reissued with a metallic look, and then reissued again, and he's still highly sought after and revered as the best Cosmos in the Masterpiece realm. Now I have 3 or 4 Masterpiece Cosmos, and the other 2 would be fine, but I still will say this is the best. So the MMC and I think Toy World are the other 2 that I have. And I still, to this day, I think Zeta might have put the one out with the mold for Toy World's mold. So this still is the best. Is it worth double, if not triple, the other ones, or would you just rather grab another one to stand in? And, you know, is there a lot of wait for Fans Toys will eventually get to them, I would imagine. But will they charge more because he's bigger? How would they tackle it? And would it still be better than X Trans? I mean, there's a lot of questions to it. But yeah, this one here, probably a bit on the controversial side. Probably not. All right, just trying to have a little bit of fun on this weekend. Let me know what you guys think about this. And I'd like to do another video like this. Tell me about any figure that's in the Masterpiece realm from any company that has been reissued. And the reissue is now going for more money. It's more expensive. It's harder to get. And there's not very many on the market. Because I'm curious. Because this could shape and mold future purchase decisions for people that are collecting. Say, you know what, I want to wait for a reissue, or I want to jump on this reissue and all of that. Or I'll pass and get a different figure from a different company. I mean, there's all different angles to look at it, but it is always fun to look at this. So let me know in the comments below other figures that fit this sort of fun little narrative. Like, subscribe. Take care, hang out.